Hi, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're a first-time watcher. My name is Michelle and I make videos about books. Today, since I was tagged by Bryan at Adventures in Literature, check out his channel, it's very excellent. I was tagged to do the Reading Tics Tag. So here we go. Question number 1. Do you only read at a specific time of day? Absolutely not. I read in the morning with my coffee. I've been known to read on my lunch breaks at work. I will read if I'm waiting in line somewhere. I'll read at night before bed. So yeah, equal opportunity, any time of day reader, that's me. Number 2, do you prefer to read in your work, everyday clothes, or are you partial to PJs and comfy clothes? 100% partial to the PJs and comfy clothes. In fact, today happens to be a day that I do not have to go anywhere. Here in Western Canada, it's a balmy negative 28 degrees Celsius. So very cold, the roads are very bad. I'm happy to stay home and read my book. So I'll be in my PJs, probably comfy clothes most of the day. My ideal situation. Question number 3. What is your favorite reading spot? Couch, chair, outdoors, somewhere else? I love to read by my window. I usually sit here on the couch with a cup of tea or a cup of coffee. In the mornings, it's still dark out, so I usually light candles. But yeah, my couch, or alternately at night in my bed, I like to read. Those are my 2 favorite spots. I'm not a big outdoor reader. I like to sit out in the summer if the weather's beautiful and I can hear my wind chimes in the breeze, and just with an iced tea on my lounge chair on my patio, that's also a good reading situation for me. So yeah. Question number 4. Do you snack while reading? Or is this a no-go? For me, it's definitely a yes go, fortunately or unfortunately, depending how you look at it. My favorite lately book snacks are this Chicago mixed popcorn, which is caramel and cheddar popcorn. Yeah. And then we have Twigs. These are butter and herb craft pretzels. Not sure what craft pretzel means. I'm guessing fancy pretzels. They're delicious at any rate. They're a company here based in Calgary. So those are good. And then I also like to have, sometimes they have the taste of an 8-year-old. I enjoy fruit snacks. Kid food is delicious sometimes, what can I say? So yeah, I like my little fruit snacks. Basically anything that won't get the pages dirty is a fine snack by me. I try not to overindulge, try not to do it all the time. Like when I'm reading in the morning, I'm only having my coffee. There's no snacking happening. When I'm reading in bed, there's also no snacking. So I guess it's a yes and no answer. Yes, most of the time I do, but there are times that I don't. Question number 5. Do you or have you ever peeked at the end of a book, or do you avoid spoilers at all costs? I avoid spoilers at all costs. I have spoiled myself for books before by reading ahead, and it's just, there's nothing to be gained by doing that. I learned my lesson. Number 6. Do you prefer first person or third person narratives, or do you care at all? I used to be a mainly third person narration fan, but there are 2 specific books that kind of turned me on to first person narration, just because it was so well done, and I thought, wow, I really like reading a story from this perspective. Like, it really works for me. And the first of those 2 books was The Lovely Bones by Alice Sebold. In this book, we are being told the story by 10-year-old Susie Salmon, who was the victim of an abduction and a murder in the 1970s. That's not a spoiler. It happens in the first chapter. We find this out, and it's just her telling her story from the great beyond. She's died, and for me that really works. It works particularly well because when the character is not here and they're reflecting back on their life, it's a great way to me, the great use of the first person narrative. So I really enjoyed that. And then the other situation where I really enjoy a first person narration is when the character has some kind of a mental health issue, a mental break, if they're going through some type of psychosis of some type. And for that, I have Death in Her Hands by Otessa Moshfegh. I felt the first person narrative in here was so well done. It really worked with this type of storytelling. And yeah, I loved it. So make a long story short, now I love both first and third person narratives, I should say. Next question. Do you read dedications, author's notes, acknowledgements, or do you skip those? It depends. If it's a super long acknowledgement just talking about the history of the book and the rewrites or the different editions, to me that's not as interesting, so I'll usually skip over that. If it's a note from the author explaining factual things, such as the book I'm currently reading, they're talking about an actual real life institution where one of the characters in the story is staying, so that adds value to the story. So for sure, I'll read that author's note. I do like dedications, just kind of as a follow-up to what happened to the people if it's a nonfiction book. So yeah, most of the time I will check out an author's note, as long as it's not super long and as long as it is relevant to me, or explains something to me, I really appreciate it then. So yeah. Question number 8, do you have a favorite reading beverage? As a matter of fact, when I read in the morning, I have my coffee, and if I'm in the afternoon reading or the evening, I will drink some kind of decaffeinated tea. Earl Grey is my favorite. I'll also drink orange pekoe tea, or there's a couple other herbal teas I like. Not too many. There's a peppermint and creamy vanilla one that I like. So yeah, I'll usually have some kind of hot drink. In the summertime, I like to drink iced tea or sweet tea, as some people in the States call it. Yeah, I'm not a big soda or pop person. I mainly stick to coffee, water, tea, sometimes an iced tea in the summer or what have you. So yeah, those are my drinks. Question number 9. How do you decide what to read next? TBR, mood, goals, or random choice? Well, I think most of us are mood readers naturally. So this year I'm making a concerted effort to get down my TBR. You can only see 3 shelves, but there's actually 5, like it goes down to the floor. So I have a lot of books on there. I have some other ones over here, this little stack. And so I want to get through those. I do have enough variety that I should be able to find something to satisfy whatever moods I'm in this coming year. I also want to do more reading from the library. I'm trying to cut down on my buying of books, so I'll do mood reading, TBR, library. And I find with my library hauls, I tend to read more because I know there's a time crunch involved, albeit it's a 3-week loan. It's still, especially if I look on my library app and I see that there's like 120 people in line waiting for the book I'm reading, I'll make a point to get it read, as fast as possible. I don't like to keep people waiting, especially if it's a super popular book that people have been waiting for. Yeah. So I'll usually prioritize a library book. Right now I don't have any library books, so I'm working on some my recent TBR, and hopefully I can get through it by the end of the month and have a wrap up to do. So yeah, the next part of this is to tag other people. Since I'm fairly new, I don't have a super long list of people, and I always forget people somehow. I don't intend to, it just happens. I apologize if I haven't mentioned you and you wanted to do the tag, so please take this as your sign. Go ahead and do this tag. I will put the prompts in the description of this video. And as usual, I'm really glad you're here, really glad you stopped by to watch, and I thank you so much, and have a great day. We'll see you in the next video. Bye.